Look at his camera. You don't have to switch, just look at his camera, it's fine for me.
Okay.
You know, I've got one problem with light.
And the concept that I like is that I like the idea. The reason why I don't like apples is that because they are all self-contained. You're not supposed to open them.
Mm-hmm.
And I like PCs because you open them and you change things and you put it around. And in Linux now, I start to see that it might be very, very more exciting.
But the danger is that you put too much money, too much time in setting up your own computer system, and you don't get the real work anymore.
Yeah,
That
but
happens to me a little bit.
I'll do it after hours. You have seen me around sometimes.
If you could just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Dino Lorimer. Despite the name, I come from Italy. I'm Italian, and I'm here working at the Center of Democratic Communication on behalf of the 3 institutes that have helped funding the project of the Center of Democratic Communication.
Okay.
The project was started up, were conceived probably in the early 90s when, after President Mandela's visit to Italy, he asked for support for the democratic movement. And the support came from the trade unions that have their own cooperation institutes. They searched for funds. They got some funding from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The purpose of the project was to enhance the capacity of the trade union movement in the media. The project was conceived as having 3 different units. One was supposed to cater for video, one for print, and one for radio. Radio and different kind. So this is how it all started. The funds eventually came through only in late '93. So the project was actually started in the early '94 and wasn't able to participate in the election because of the delays that had been, as usual, when you deal with public funds from in different parts of the world. Apparently, it's not only an Italian problem. After the 1994 elections, the project started to operate. My impression was that it took some time before they started to find the right foot. And that we have to bear in mind that South Africa in those years was a situation where there was a lot of mobility amongst people that could be available to handle the different activities of the project. So it wasn't that easy to staff the project. I think of all the people that have worked at CDC, a lot of them now working for local government or for the national government, or they are working in the industry, in the press industry. And so in the beginning it was quite difficult to find a core group of people that will run the project and will have a long running vision of what the project should be. So those were the difficulties we had in the beginning. Another reason of some problems in the beginning was the fact that especially the radio unit was supposed to cater for the community radio sector. This because there had been a big campaign in the democratic movement before free airwaves, and there had been a new act before the election. Was one of the things that had been discussed at the CODESA that had a provision for community radio station. Unfortunately, before the IBA started to work on all the specifications that were supposed to be met in order to have community radio station, some time elapsed. The first community radio station, I think, was on air in the beginning of '95. was Pietermaritzburg, if I'm correct. The bulk of them started in August '95. So that was another reason and even the process of that IBA adopted to granting for the license was a bit cumbersome. So one of our interfaces wasn't there, because of course there were a lot of radio projects around the country, but very few radios on air. But we found, at least in the radio, I followed the radio sector for 3 years, from '93 to '96, and in those, it took some, as I told you, it took some time before we got to an appropriate, to find a proper foot. But we had been for some time working for the SABC on the production of a program for the SABC radio slot. We did a few things for community radio. Probably the most important was a production of a 13-part series on the Soweto uprising that was aired on a few community radio stations on the 20th anniversary. The concept of the series was more than, rather than trying to remember the uprising, was to follow the story of some of the people that had been active in the uprising and that they weren't around anymore. One, of course, was Hector Peterson. Then there was Mashinini, there was Makoba, all people that had passed away and that have left behind families, or other people that have been the unsung heroes of the struggle against apartheid, that had their story to tell about. So there was, for instance, the testimony of a woman that had been raped by the police. I think that program has been distributed also overseas. I know for sure that probably in Holland they had somebody that had taken care of seeing that had some sort of distribution. In any case, we managed to have it, to send it, even if it was a late entry. The producer went to the Free Italia that is a radio Radio Prix for programs on a panel discussion on the production of documentaries. Later on, the radio project started with a section that was the satellite distribution project. We're doing it together in partnership with the National Radio Community Forum. And the concept is of having a way of distributing portions of programs to radio stations, to community radio stations across the country. One of the problems of community radio stations, I think, is that even though they might be very popular in their environment, they're not known around the country. And because some of these community radio stations need to have access to certain, first of all, sources of information, but also sources of revenues, they need to have a way of market themselves. So having a means of distribution of programs could be one of these ways. The satellite service has been started 1 year ago, probably late '96. We had a couple of experimental programs on, and then we had a few broadcasts of interviews with ministers of local government, specifically this for the Gauteng region. We will have, and we had, and we will have broadcasts also with ministers of national government that have in this way a mean to access the community radio stations audience without having to go around on a road show. And then of course we will use phone. We used and we will use phone names so that the listeners of the community radio station can call a toll-free number, so they don't have to bear the cost of the long distance call and speak to the minister or to whoever else. So this is what the radio project has been doing up to now. Another section of the radio project was the setting up of two radio stations. We started a project in Port Elizabeth for setting up a radio station. The project is still on the way, even though we had some problems with the people there, with the driving group. Unfortunately, the person that was supposed to carry on the project passed away. So we had a few problems like this with Port Elizabeth. We will set up another radio station in the near future. So this is the current situation for radio. We have experienced a lot of problems with funding, but this I don't think our international viewers are interested in these problems, but have more to do with how funds are handled in the public sector in different countries. In Italy, we had some problem in having funds released. So, for instance, the funding for the radio has come through only for 2 years out of 3. So we still need to we're waiting still for the funds for the third year. On another project, we have only 1 year funding that had been made available. So this is the current situation. But the interesting part of the project is that even though funding has been scarce in the past 2 years, the project has managed to keep on going, meaning that the concept was correct. There was actually a need of a project such as this for South Africa, because this helps, first of all, radio stations to have in having programs or in having this interface, the satellite, for the delivery of programs. The other section, up to now I spoke mostly about radio. We have other 2 different projects. That one is the TV project, and the other one is the print project. Then there's a 4th project that has been started with funds made available by the Norwegian people. What's the name of the organization? In any case, is the trade union or NGO that works with international aid, and they help in setting up a photo unit. Mainly the thrust was on bringing the old ANC archive from exile and make it available again for the press and whoever wanted to have it available. Of course, that archive has been integrated with other photos that have been shot during the past years, and those photos are being currently sold to newspapers whenever they need some kind of picture of Mandela or whoever. We just can't make them. Actually, if you just look around here, not in this office, but in other offices, you might find a few pictures that are all made available from our archive. The other 2 projects that have been funded by the Italian cooperation movement are, as I said, the TV and the print project. The TV project has been, I don't know how you assess the success of a project. From a financial point of view, I think is probably the most successful, because the project has achieved, has first of all bought a quite sexy piece of equipment that when was bought was one of the very few that were available in South Africa. Now probably you find them everywhere, but is an edited sheet that is quite, probably you might know about the Avid system. And for that reason was quite sought after by producers to try to produce the material. So in that of course generates some income for the project. So under that aspect, the project has been quite successful. It has been, to my but probably I'm just giving it. No, it has been less successful on the fact of bringing people together and using those facilities for producing programs. Even though there has in the past few months we have seen picking up a bit this part of the thing. I think the real reason is that TV is mainly about having somebody that buys a product. And if you don't have, in South Africa you had SABC, so before you're making inroads in the SABC, you have to go quite far. And so you don't have all those independent producers that come and use your facilities to produce their stuff. Even though there have been a few documentaries that have been cut here and there of very, very good quality. And we're quite happy with the, let's put it this way, it's a good project for empower producers to do producing without having to be totally robbed by big production houses. It hasn't succeeded that much in building more producers and having more people coming in using the facility to the job. Whilst the radio project, for instance, has made a lot of training courses, and there's a lot of people that weren't radio people before they came in CDC, and now they have some knowledge of how to use and operate a mic, a mixer, and whatever. So under this kind of one project has been probably more successful than the other. The print project has it was a more of a sort of service, a project that was supposed to service, has a facility for mainly trade unions. So for most of his time has been busy with the production of the Shop Steward, that is the magazine of COSATU, produces also the magazines of other unions. In the past few months, we have been doing some training on print as well for shop stewards to allow them, to empower them in using the latest packages of desktop publishing, so that in the future they can just do most of the job on their computers, and then they come here and they just do the final cut, let's call it this way, on the print. So this is more or less the what the CDC is all about. To be honest, if I should rate the success of the CDC, I would rate it like 70% of what was supposed to be. But I think that is fair enough for a project that has been going through, has been developed in a period very, very peculiar for South African life. If I should elaborate on that, probably is the time in which you could see the biggest mobility amongst people of us with skills, and not only the people that are going overseas and flying away from the problems of this country, but also amongst people that have skills and want to stay. They just they move from one place to the other, because there is quite a shortage of those skills, especially amongst, for instance, the disadvantaged communities, and that's more or less the situation. Any questions?
Yeah, or your plans for the future, but at least the main important.
Okay.
Just a minute, please.
It's always the off-camera stuff.
Okay, yeah.
It's more interesting.
No, but this gives you allows you for a good to write a story. All the
Oh yeah.
Currently, can I start? Yeah.
Please.
Okay. Currently, CDC is busy with shooting a couple of documentaries on the TV section. Then we are. Can I start again?
Little intervention.
Okay. Currently, CDC is busy with different activities. On the radio side, we are establishing the radio satellite service. We will have more broadcasts in the future, and hopefully the satellite should be available to most of the radio station or the community radio station in South Africa. We're also waiting for the funds to start up a new radio station. But that will implicate just the funding of the station and the startup costs, not the running of the operations. We are making our studios available for special events broadcast, as you probably might have seen. And currently, in this precise moment, a project from Soweto is running a special broadcast. We just finished a broadcast by Yeovil Community Radio Station. We are doing some training. We still try, since the mission of CDC was to cater firstly for the trade union movement and then of course for the whole of the democratic movement. So we are still doing some training with shop stewards on how to handle media, how to handle radio, how to do interviews. And sometimes some of these trainings wrap some very nice fruits. For instance, the last training we had with the shop stewards from the Johannesburg local have allowed us to reach an agreement with a community radio station to broadcast a labor slot on their station that will be hosted by these people that have been trained here at CDC. So I think that's all for radio. I think we still have a couple of other programs, but at the moment it needs to be a bit fine-tuned. Probably could mention we might start up a news service. At least this is something we have in our vision. I don't know if that will come through. Depends very much on funding and availability of human resources. On the printing project, we have been doing some training as well. We are producing some programs, some newsletters for some trade unions. We have some plans in producing some publication specifically on certain specific arguments. We should have one on gender equality for Sakao. We are planning, this is the last part, to beef up our internet branch because we have a homepage that now is very amateurial, let's put it this way. We'll try to make it a bit more up to date and a bit more informative for the people that would like to access the CDC and to get in contact with us. The last part, the TV section, we're producing 2 documentaries at the moment, directly as CDC. We had just finished the production of another couple of documentaries. And we are renting out the facilities to different independent producers for programs that will be broadcast on national TV. And some of them will be broadcast also overseas. We have an agreement with a production house for some documentaries that will be broadcast in Italy. So this is more or less what we're currently doing. CDC is not only this what I've been telling up to now. We also have we're engaged also with some organizations that deal with media in the southern region, and some of them are hosted actually on this floor. So you might want to see if you have the chance to get in contact with them. I think that's all.
The festival, and also there was these film festivals which we supplied them.
There were films that they got from you?
Yeah, there were films that they got from me. I was also there at the park anyway.
Okay, just one thing.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a mic here. Okay. must just speak anyway.
That's good. I mean, maybe we could just back up a bit. Brown had asked about the history of the organization.
Okay.
We started in on that really wonderful story of how it came about.
Okay. All right. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. The Film Resource Unit started in 1986 as an underground organization which was like promoting political issues like videos on the history of our politicians like Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Oliver Tambo and stuff like that. So it was actually done underground, seeing that we were like not allowed to promote such kind of material. So that's how it started. But as times goes on, it also like it came up as a distribution organization whereby it publicly distributed not only political issues, but then it also covered educational materials and entertainment video materials. So we actually distributing edutainment video materials. So the videos that we're distributing, we also have got videos that are pertinent to AIDS, women and gender, stuff like that, which is distributed to NGOs. The NGOs, they then run workshops throughout the Southern African region, be it to schools, churches, and there's also youth clubs. And we also got videos on the Labor Relations Act, which covers like issues on the workers' rights and on the history of the unions as well. Yeah, like the Labor Relations Act, it's our recent video that we have on labor. Which covers the new Labor Relations Act, and it is distributed among all the unions and the government and also the universities. We also supply our universities with our videos like it to the music department, the theological department with our videos, because we also have videos that are pertinent to like music and culture, and we also have videos that are pertinent to religion. You see, not doesn't mean any kind of information on that religion. And we also have videos on the African feature films as well, which is all over from Africa. We've got films from Burkina Faso, the Senegal, the ones like our late Jibril Mambeti, like we've got Haina, Stuki Book and stuff like that. And we also have got films from Zimbabwe, which is Flame. We've got videos like More Time and Neria as well. And we've got a lot of videos that also covers like issues on the youth as well, whereby we also have a project that is called the MVEP, which is called MVEP, which actually goes out to urban areas, to rural areas, and then they screen the film for free. Then they also run workshops. So MVEP stands for Mobile Video Education Project, which we've got someone like a field worker who's now focused on Mpumalanga only, whereby all the rural areas in Mpumalanga are covered. He screens a film maybe, let's say, on AIDS. And then after that on AIDS, he runs workshops. We get questionnaires whereby people, they respond back. And also we've got someone who's doing VRC, which is Video Resource Centers, like the establishment of resource centers, because once the field worker goes to Mpumalanga, he runs that project on like screening the films, and then he moves out to another area. And then the person like who's dealing with VRCs comes in and establishes a VRC, a resource center, with the government, like with the central government there. So the screening of videos must keep on going on. We want it to be an ongoing thing as we move out. Like we go just once, like we concentrate there for a month, and then he screens, boom. After that, he moves out, the VRC coordinator comes in, he establishes resource centers with the help of the government, and we also donate some videos as well. And practical example, we also have a resource center here in Johannesburg, the multimedia library, the second floor, whereby there's videos, a lot of videos that are being sponsored by us, the Film Resource Unit. They are there, so the community can go there and screen and just watch videos for free.
You were telling about the history that you started as an underground organization. Can you expand a little bit on that? How exactly did you work in those years?
Like in those years, it was sort of like a library, whereby people would come in and view videos, like indoors, like videos on, let's say Mandela, on the history of Mandela. People would come in and view those videos, and then we would borrow them out like for free. Then they would take them to their home and then bring it back. We were not like doing it like in order to get money out of that. It was something that was done like for the benefit of the community. So it was sort of a library. So after some time we moved out of that, and then we started to be a distribution company. That's how we started.
And who are the producers of the films that you distribute?
The films that we distribute are not basically for only like maybe a group of producers. We distribute videos for independent producers. Like we don't have a criteria whereby we say we only take films from these producers. Like be it everyone, we've got like Chris Austin is also one of our producers. Jeremy Nathan is also. We also have some films from him. Jibril, we also have some films from him. Henry Dupark and stuff like that. And even like we've also got videos on the organization, like the Free Filmmakers. We also distribute their films as well.
Can you tell us how you promote the distribution of your videos? Do you have a newsletter with a selection of the videos that you get in, that you send out? Or how do you do this promotion?
The way we promote our videos, it's we've got sales team, whereby there's 2 people who are based in the office who concentrate on these sectors, like be it government, universities, hospital. Like it's sort of a telesales, whereby we just keep them informed about the videos, and then we also send them like brochures of the videos that are available, and in turn that's how they order as well. And also we've got people that are called agents who come and buy from us, like at the cost price, like at the video, like maybe 45 range or so. Then they go out to the community and they sell. So it's we are based in the office, like doing sales. Then there are people who go out to the communities and sell as well. And we also have like sub-distributors, like who buy videos in bulk, and then they in turn sell to retailers, like to the big retail shops.
How many films do you have in your library? How many different amounts?
We've got over 500 videos that we have, because it's a set of 3 catalogs. We've got a catalog on feature films, and we've got 2 catalogs that covers documentary. There's a recent one that we just released at the early this year, which has, I think, close to 200 films or so. That's the quantity of the videos we have so far.
In which region do you work in? Is it only South Africa, or do you also work with the northern countries, with, for example, African Film Festival in other parts of the world?
Yeah, we do normally do that. Like we have our videos. We have a relationship with so many film festivals that goes on all around, like the world, so to say, because we do attend like the Cannes, they do attend the Milan, and recently there's the one that's going on in Zimbabwe. They also have some films from us that they're going to distribute, and also our sales drive, it's not only based on Southern Africa. We're also concentrating on Africa as a whole. And it also depends on the contract that we sign with the producer. We can even sell the video to the Netherlands as well, to the USA as well, because there's a university in the US that has bought some videos from us as well. So it depends according to the contract, because the contract is the one that binds us. So if someone just gives us the rights for anywhere, we can sell the videos to whatever country. That's it.
Yeah, how do you feel that the content of the programming that you distribute differs from, say, what's available on commercial television or mainstream media sources? I mean, what's unique about this programming?
Yeah, the unique part of the programming, it's the videos that we have are not being broadcasted through our television like the SABC, like maybe the ones on AIDS and on women and gender. You see, they are not like given that enough attention. So the only films that we have that are being broadcasted recently, it's the feature films, African feature films, whereby the SABC is also trying to promote African films. So the unique part of it is just that the videos that we have, no one has them anywhere in South Africa.
And is it only videos that you distribute or also films that you send to the theaters?
No, we only have videos that we distribute because the rights as well, so to say, because it also depends on the film itself. Like some of the films that were on circuit, like we have a film like Fools, Jump the Gun, Flame, and Hyenas. They also started through circuit, like they went to the theaters, then after that they came down. So it depends also on the producer, how he wants his film to be distributed as well.
I'm just wondering if you have any people respond to videos and the subjects, or are they successful in terms of what they're trying to set out to achieve?
Yeah, they are successful. Like there are some NGOs that comes back to us. Like we know, I also communicate normally with NGOs as well. So I get in touch with them, and then they tell me about the feedback that at least the video medium, it's much easier for the community to relate to. You see, seeing that it's something that is visual, something that you see, something that you easily learn out of. So I think visual material, it's better. Like if they can take like the subjects, like any subject, and then they visualize it, everyone can pass anyway because it's easier. It's something that you easily adapt to, you see. So that's how I think the community is taking it to.
You're saying you're now distributing. We have plans to expand your activities in the future?
Yeah, we do have some plans as well, like to expand like to all the provinces all around South Africa, because only now we only based here in Johannesburg, and people like in Cape Town, when they buy videos, we have to post them the videos. So at least if we have branches all around our province, it would be easier for them to even go physical and view the films themselves. So we also looking into expanding as well, of which it would take some time, seeing that we're an NGO that is funded by different countries, you see. So funding doesn't come cheap anyway, because like there are like so many companies are not willing to fund NGOs. Most of the people that are funding us, it's outside countries like Dutch and stuff like that, and the Germany also. So here in South Africa, there's no much funding. Like there's no one who's prepared to fund our organization. But we're still working on it. We're still negotiating with them, looking into them funding us, seeing that they're also benefiting out of our videos as well.
That's great.
This wasn't me. I didn't know it was.
Has this been in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen a picture. I didn't see the film now.
Maybe just to add on one thing before you see, so we've got some films as well from the United States.
Okay.
Zenon.
Xenon package.
Yeah, my last comment, it's we My last comment is we also not concentrating on Africa only. We also have expanded, like recently. We've got some videos that are being distributed by Xenon in the United States that we have rights to. So right now we're also going to distribute some films from the States as well. So we're not only closed for African films as well. We're looking at the broader perspectives. You see, seeing that everything that is done, rightly done, it can benefit anyone. So that's my last comment.
I'm sorry? Interesting. Just tell me your name and where we are, and we'll get levels off that.
My name's Nisha. We're at the Film Resource Unit in NewTown Johannesburg. And the Film Resource Unit is a distribution company that...
I was just getting levels on
Yes, I
levels
know.
of frames too, actually. So that was good though. Start with the Film Resource Unit.
The Film Resource Unit is a distribution company that's South Africa's premier distributor of African feature films and independently produced documentaries. And we distribute African films and South African feature films that are not released commercially in South Africa. And we distribute mainly to broadcasters, to... sorry. We distribute to broadcasters in South Africa and Africa, and we to institutions such as libraries, museums, universities, and we also sell to people in the street to sell through. In addition, we distribute independently produced documentaries on health, education, women's issues, the environment. That's mainly produced by the small independent producer that as well looking for markets and broadcasters for them. That's the one side of the Film Resource Unit, which is a distributor. The other half of the Film Resource Unit, in which I'm involved in, is the noble part, the education and development part, and we do we have a number of development projects, the video resource centers, the mobile video van, the 16mm project in Mamelodi Township, and video distributor operatives. And the video resource centers are a network of video access centers in under-resourced communities in South Africa, and we look for people and organizations who are able to create access centers that would screen films and videos to their communities, that would do media literacy, and we train them and develop them and offer them assistance that would make them self-sustainable as a media access center and as a sub-distributor. And we do that in South Africa. We also have video resource center partners in Southern Africa, in Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland. And again, they act as sub-distributors for our products. And we also offer them training and assistance in developing them so that they can create access in their countries and their communities. This also creates alternative distribution networks for our products. So we're always looking for new ways to get our films and videos out. Do I just keep going?
Yeah, just let me just.
Are you falling asleep on your
No,
knees?
no, I'm not falling asleep. I get uncomfortable. I have to shift around.
We used to. This is what we shoot our thesis on in school.
What?
1 chips.
Yeah.
I know your camera well.
Yeah, this is a good camera. Okay.
Okay, the other project we operate is our mobile video unit, and we have 2 of them. One is operational now in Mpumalanga province, because Mpumalanga is the most under-resourced, poorest province of our 9 provinces in South Africa. And the mobile video unit acts as a mobile video resource center and travels around communities doing screenings with community-based organizations and NGOs, doing outdoor screenings with labor movements, women's movements, youth organizations, and it's incredibly highly successful. And the demand has just outstripped our capacity. So we're going to be operating a second mobile unit. And the reason we chose Mpumalanga is because it's our poorest province. And our 16mm project is a project that's going to be operated in Mamelodi Township outside Pretoria, which is our capital city. And it's really organizing, developing, and training a network of 16mm operators who are working in Mamelodi Township. Mamelodi, again, is a very under-resourced township with no access to video stores or movie theaters, and private individual entrepreneurs have set up garage cinemas, community cinemas, little cinematheques where they are screening 16mm films in their communities, and we are going to be offering them training and development so that they can improve their businesses and offer a better service to this community. And again, it's creating alternative distribution channels and interest and audiences for African cinema and education and development videos. And our last project is our video distributor operators, and these are individual operators in around South Africa who act as individuals who go around screening films and videos in their community. So they operate projectors or video projectors, and they operate these in schools or in their own communities, and they also sell the videos and films distributed by FRU. So again, they're creating audiences and alternative distribution channels for African film and video in South Africa. And that's what we do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Get this right down.